Okay, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down the big ideas from Dave Ramsey's book, Baby Steps, Millionaires. Now, this book makes a pretty bold claim that there's a proven path for totally ordinary people to build some extraordinary wealth. So how does it work? Let's find out together.
But first, I want you to do something for me. Just for a second, get a picture in your head of a millionaire. What do you see? Is it private jets, a huge mansion on a private island, maybe a fancy yacht? Got it? Okay, hold on to that image, because we're about to see if that picture is even close to reality. And boom, this slide gets right to the heart of the problem. We mix up millionaires with billionaires. On the left, yeah, that's the billionaire lifestyle. We're talking rockets to space, wealth that's almost impossible to comprehend. But on the right, that's the millionaire we're actually talking about today. Someone with a paid-for house, a nice reliable truck, who's smart with their money, and yes, uses coupons. The difference isn't just a couple of zeros. It's a completely different universe. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what a real millionaire even is. Then, we'll dive into the two-phase plan, breaking down what's called the debt sprint and the wealth marathon. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at the proof, the real stories that show this is something you can actually do. So let's jump right into section 1, the real millionaire. This is all about recalibrating our brains. Because the goal, it's probably not what you think it is. This right here, this is the single most important definition we're going to talk about. Being a millionaire has nothing to do with how you feel or how much you make in a year. It's just a math equation. It's everything you own minus everything you owe. If that number is $1 million or more, congrats, you're in the club. It's that simple. It's all about your net worth. And that's so important to remember. It's not an opinion. It's not a vibe. It's just math. And when you frame it that way, it stops being this crazy, impossible dream and turns into a clear, tangible target you can actually aim for. Okay, so who are these millionaires, really? You might expect a bunch of Ivy League degrees, right? Well, take a look at this data from a huge study of millionaires. It's kind of shocking. 62% went to a regular old public state school. Another 8% went to community college. This just proves the point. It's not about having a fancy, expensive start in life. It's about the plan you follow. All right, let's move on to section 2 and see how this all comes together. This is the core strategy, the engine of the whole thing, the two-phase plan. The best way to think about it is like a race. First, you sprint, like your life depends on it. Then, you settle in for a marathon. And here it is, the whole plan in one place, the 7 baby steps. Now pay close attention to the order here because it's deliberate. You get a small safety net first, then you go to war with your debt. It's only after the debt is gone and you have a bigger emergency fund that you even start to think about serious long-term investing. It's a very specific sequence. So let's break it down. Okay, section 3, the debt sprint. This is all about baby steps 1, 2, and 3. The mindset here is what Ramsey calls gazelle intensity. Seriously, picture a gazelle sprinting away from a cheetah. You are the gazelle, and your debt is the cheetah. You have to run for your life. It's all about intense, short-term pain for a massive, long-term gain. The sprint starts right here with baby step 1. Your only goal is to save $1,000 as fast as you possibly can. Now, this isn't a giant emergency fund. This is a buffer. This is the money that keeps a flat tire or a broken fridge from blowing up your whole plan and pushing you right back into debt. Then comes the main event of the sprint, the debt snowball. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of finance people say you should pay off the highest interest rate first, but this plan has you list your debts from the smallest balance to the largest, ignoring the interest rates, and you attack that smallest one first. Why? Because this isn't about perfect math. It's about human behavior. When you knock out that first little debt, you get a quick, powerful win. That feeling, that momentum, is the fuel that keeps you going as the snowball gets bigger and bigger until it crushes all of your debt. And now we can breathe. Welcome to section 4, phase 2, the wealth marathon. Once you're out of consumer debt and you've built up that full emergency fund, the game changes. The frantic sprint is over. Now it's all about a steady, consistent, intentional pace that builds wealth over decades. And the engine of this entire marathon is baby step 4. It's so simple. You take 15% of your gross, your pre-tax household income, and you invest it for retirement. That's it. No trying to time the market, no chasing get-rich-quick schemes. You just consistently put that 15% away month after month, year after year. This is where the real magic happens. And if you want to know why that consistency is so ridiculously powerful, just look at this chart. Let's take an average household income, say around $65,000 a year. Well, 15% of that is about $800 a month. If you invest that consistently for 30 years and get a 10% return, that becomes $1.8 million. At 12%, almost $3 million. This isn't a lottery ticket, it's the beautiful, unstoppable math of compound growth. Your money starts making money, and then that money starts making money. And here's the cool part. While that 15% is just humming along in the background, growing automatically, you can focus on the next goals in the marathon. Baby steps 5 and 6. This is where you start saving for your kids' college and you throw every extra dollar at your mortgage to pay it off early. Can you imagine that? Once that house is paid off, your single biggest monthly expense is gone. Forever. That's when you hit the final step, building serious wealth and being able to give with incredible generosity. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important section. Yes, you can do this. Because let's be real, all the theory and all the math in the world doesn't mean a thing if it doesn't actually work for real people in the real world. So let's look at the proof. I want you to meet Tiffany. As a young single mom, she was working over 60 hours a week just trying to make ends meet. She decided she'd had enough, went all in on this plan, and clawed her way out of 60 grand in debt. Fast forward 20 years of just consistent hard work, and her net worth was $1.85 million. Or take a look at Webster. Maybe you're thinking, it's too late for me to start. Well, Webster didn't even begin this journey until he was 44 years old, buried under almost $200,000 of debt. But in just 4.5 years, he was completely debt-free. From there, he started the marathon. By the time he was 64, his net worth was $1.45 million. It is never too late to start. And these aren't just cherry-picked feel-good stories. These principles are backed up by the largest research study of millionaires ever conducted. We're talking over 10,000 of them. And the research confirms what the stories show. This path actually works. It's repeatable. And the data from that study paints this incredible picture of the average millionaire. 94% just live on less than they make. 93% use coupons when they shop. They tend to enjoy what they do for a living. But here's the one that always gets me. Only 7% got wealthy from inheritance. This isn't about being lucky or coming from money. It's about a consistent set of simple, boring habits practiced over a very long time. And in the end, the whole plan, every single step, really boils down to this one powerful idea. It's about choosing to live like no one else, right now, making sacrifices that other people aren't willing to make, so that later you can live and give like no one else. You're basically trading short-term wants for long-term freedom. And so the final question really is this: is that a trade you're willing to make?